Hello and welcome to EWTN Pro-Life Weekly, your weekly dose of the top pro-life news and issues, all from a Catholic perspective. I'm your host, Catherine Hadro, in our Washington, D.C. studio. Thank you for joining us. In this week's show, we speak out against a Planned Parenthood talk show appearance. We're joined by the star of the new movie Unplanned, and this.
I'm looking around and I'm looking at all these people here and I'm just like, look at what God is doing. Look at what he's doing in our culture. Look what he's doing here tonight in Hollywood.
See Hollywood's red carpet rollout for the pro-life film. But first, our top story, 20 times. That's how many times already House Democrats have blocked a floor vote on the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act.
I urge the Speaker and the Majority Leader to schedule the Born Alive Act on the floor immediately so we can stand up and defend the sanctity of life.
The gentlewoman is debating.
Passed the House in the 115th Congress.
The gentlewoman is debating. You have not been recognized for debate.
This bill, Mr. Speaker, does not impose any restrictions.
That was Representative Ann Wagner of Missouri, who recently reintroduced the House version of the Born Alive bill. It would require medical professionals provide a newborn who survives a botched abortion appropriate medical care. House Democrats have blocked this legislation at least 20 times now. This follows the Senate's rejection of the bill. House Minority Leader Steve Scalise announced he intends to file a discharge petition, forcing a House floor vote on the bill next week. Representative Ralph Abraham of Louisiana, who is also a general surgeon, joins us now from Capitol Hill. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
First off, you have stated you would support the Born Alive bill if the House took it up for a vote. Tell us why that is.
Well, absolutely we'll support a Born Alive bill. It just makes good common sense. It's certainly the human thing to do. You know, I'm one that believes that life begins at conception, so we know that's a baby in that womb, and certainly if they're born alive in a botched abortion, my goodness, why would anybody think that that baby should not be attended to?
Congressman, this bill has been blocked 20 times now from getting a House vote. What is your reaction to that?
It's terrible. It's an abomination. The Democrats need to at least let people vote on this bill to show the American public where they stand on this issue. It is a moral, ethical, and an American issue that, again, we have got to bring to the forefront of the population. Let them make the decision as to who they send to Congress.
I want to bring attention to the fact that you are a medical doctor, and Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, also a medical doctor, made comments recently that sounded like a defense of infanticide, seeming to say there are cases when a newborn baby is left to die if that's what the mother and family desired. Congressman, is that acceptable for a doctor to willingly allow newborns to die if they are deemed unwanted?
That's not acceptable for a doctor. That's not acceptable for any human being to think in those terms. Again, where can you even go with thought processes like that? It's just wrong, it's evil, and we've got to stop it.
The Born Alive bill is not about abortion specifically. It is about caring for infants. But while we have you as a medical doctor, can you clarify whether a late-term abortion is ever necessary in order to save the life of a mother? There has been a lot of discussion about this.
Well, let me tell you how to save the life of the mother in the third trimester if the mother's life is in jeopardy. Deliver the baby. Don't abort that baby. Deliver the baby. It's certainly much, much better on the child, but certainly it's easier on the mother if you just deliver the baby and instead of trying to attempt an abortion. So again, we've got this 180 degrees wrong. We've got to get this right. We've got to put this before the American people. They are the conscience of this great country, and they understand how important it is that not only are we allowed to vote on the bill, but that we pass a bill to protect that child that may be born alive from a botched abortion.
Thank you so much for your time and for your insight. Representative Ralph Abraham of Louisiana, thank you.
Thank y'all.
And joining us now in studio is Autumn Christensen, the policy director for the Susan B. Anthony List. Autumn, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
20 different times, pro-life lawmakers have called for a vote on the Born Alive bill. only to be blocked by House Democrats. What's going on here?
You know, people talk all the time about how we need to find common ground. Wouldn't you think that protecting a baby, giving a baby who survives an abortion the same kind of care that any other baby in any other hospital situation who was born prematurely would be common ground that we could agree on? But in fact, what we're finding is that the extreme abortion lobby really has put a stranglehold on the Democratic leadership in the House, and they've said, no, we don't want any regulations, do not have that vote, and they've complied.
And pro-lifers do not have control of the House of Representatives, and it's not likely that the Born Alive bill would even pass the House because of that. In your opinion, is a vote still important?
It is, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I think one thing that we often forget about, because we hear so much about the progressive left coming in this freshman wave of Democrats, we forget that there are over 24 Democrats who are new to Congress who are from pro-life districts in states like Georgia or Iowa or Utah. And those members now have a choice to make. Are they going to vote their districts, or are they going to vote with their leadership?
And also in other really big pro-life news this week, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo made a big announcement when it came to the expanded Mexico City policy. Let's take a listen.
As a result of my decision today, we're also making clear we will refuse to provide assistance to foreign NGOs that give financial support to other foreign groups in the global abortion industry. We will enforce a strict prohibition on backdoor funding schemes and add runs around our policy.
Autumn, can you break down what does this mean? How significant is this?
Well, it just shows, you know, President Trump implemented the broadest application of the Mexico City policy ever implemented, making sure that none of our global health money will go to foreign organizations that promote or perform abortion. And now we see Secretary Pompeo saying, and look, we're not going to allow any kind of sidestepping or loopholes. If you are an organization getting U.S. taxpayer dollars, no promotion of abortion, and that includes not funding other organizations that will do your abortion promotion for you.
That's really helpful. So it's really enforcing this law and closing that loophole.
That's right.
Autumn Christensen, Policy Director for the Susan B. Anthony List. Thank you.
Thank you.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced this week he is strengthening efforts to stop taxpayer funding of the abortion industry overseas. The Global Protect Life policy, as it's being called, prevents taxpayer funds for healthcare programs from going to organizations that perform or promote abortions around the globe. Secretary Pompeo said that now the administration will also block these groups from funding other NGOs that perform or promote abortion. From the State Department, Secretary Pompeo said he will work to, quote, ensure global health goals while refusing to subsidize the killing of unborn babies. This strengthened implementation of the pro-life policy will make certain taxpayer dollars will not be used to underwrite abortions around the globe. And that brings us to this week's call to action. Go to prolifeweekly.com. Again, that is prolifeweekly.com. Here, you can send a thank you message directly to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and President Donald Trump for enforcing the Global Protect Life policy to its fullest extent. Again, the Global Protect Life policy prevents taxpayer funds intended for health care from going to organizations that end lives instead of save them. This week's announcement ensures these funds are used for life-saving healthcare, not abortion. When you go to prolifeweekly.com, you'll simply fill out some of your basic information so we can send this message to Secretary Pompeo and President Trump. Tell the administration thank you for strengthening its global pro-life efforts by going to prolifeweekly.com. Turning now to our next story, the true story about Abby Johnson's conversion from Planned Parenthood clinic director to pro-life leader opens in theaters nationwide this Friday, March 29th. Unplanned is based on Johnson's book of the same name and stars actress Ashley Bratcher. The film was given an R rating for its realistic abortion scenes, though many Christian leaders are calling on families to see the movie and to consider that R as recommended. Before its opening weekend, Hollywood's TCL Chinese Theater rolled out the red carpet for the film's stars, supporters, and pro-life influencers. And before the Hollywood premiere, I spoke with Unplanned star actress Ashley Bratcher, who portrays Abby Johnson right here in our DC studio. Here's our interview. Ashley, thanks for being here.
Of course. I'm always happy to be here.
So we are finally at the release of the film after so much hard work. How do you feel?
I am ecstatic. I don't really think I have words because it's been now a year of my life almost just being a part of this film, and to have the public finally be able to see this it's just a really exciting moment in my life.
That's incredible. And some news recently that the film got an R rating. For parents who are debating whether or not this is okay for them to bring their families to, what do you want them to know?
I think it's really important to understand why we got the R rating, because there's no nudity, there's no sex, there is no profanity. The MPAA essentially gave us the R rating for violence. So they are agreeing that abortion is a violent and disturbing act, which isn't new to you or I, but I think that the only piece that I want parents to know is that I would caution them in making sure they have a conversation with their children that they're planning to take. I would say preteen, not much younger than that, but being aware that we don't hold back what abortion really is. We let the world know that this is a procedure that's happening, and we don't do it for the sake of blood and gore. We do it because we want to reveal the truth. This is the first time that we're putting a face on the victim. And it's so important that people understand that.
It really is a concession that abortion is violent.
Yeah.
Ashley, you shared recently on your Facebook page a little bit about your own unplanned story. Can you tell us a little bit about that and that journey?
Yeah. I spent a lot of years keeping it a secret because I wasn't married and I had this sense of shame. And doing this movie, I thought, wow, you know, this is something that would really empower a lot of people to share and say, I chose life, and I did. I was really young, and I remember one of the first responses I got when I told someone I was pregnant was, wow, really, you're going to throw away your career? And I remember just thinking, this is not what's going to happen for me, that I know that I can pursue my career and have a successful, very happy life with a child. Yeah, I was scared. I was young. I didn't know how things were going to go. I didn't have a job. I wasn't married. But I knew that there was this incredible life growing inside of me. And I just remember calling out to God during that time and saying, God, what is my purpose here? I don't understand. I don't understand what I'm doing here. And it was during that time that I finally understood God's love, the Father's love, because if I could love this little tiny person growing inside of me that much, how much more God must love me. And my son, he saved me. He really did. I wasn't walking in my faith. I wasn't spending time with Jesus like I really wanted to. I was kind of in a period of rebellion, and I was selfish. I never thought I wanted to have children. And he taught me to love unconditionally and what it meant to put someone ahead of myself. And having my child empowered me because it made me want to be a better person. It made me fight for something. And it just taught me so much about life because I chose to have him.
And he's 9 years old now?
He's 9 years old.
That's incredible, your beautiful son. So, you know, just listening to your story, Ashley, there's another woman out there who's listening, and she has an unplanned pregnancy of her own. What would you want to share with her?
That there are people who will love you and stand by you, that you may think that this is the end of your life or the end of your career, that's just a lie. That is a lie that society has perpetuated right now to make you believe, and it's something Planned Parenthood is really good at doing, is saying you can't be successful and have a child. You can't have a fulfilling career or a happy life and have a child. And what abortion does is it preys on that vulnerability. It makes women believe that they really can't, when in reality, having a child is one of the most empowering things that you can do.
Well, thank you for sharing your witness. It seems you are speaking boldly on the life issue, that you're not afraid to speak out. Have you always been that way, or has this role in this film kind of impacted that?
No, this role has definitely impacted that, because in doing this role, I have gained knowledge and insight, something that I didn't have before. And when you have the education and you understand what's really happening, you have a social responsibility to make your voice heard and to make sure that other people understand what's happening. And it really gave me a firm stance to say, this is what I believe, this is what I now know, and I wanted to fight for it. And so I don't have any regret. I don't feel scared in speaking my faith and how I feel about abortion. And other people, even pro-choice people, have come to me and they've said, I'm not sure I agree with you, but I respect you. And even some of my friends that were firmly, just adamantly that a woman should have the choice at any time have now said to me, well, I believe in restrictions. I believe that it's only okay up to this point. And I think that's a start. That's a start, that you're recognizing this.
And how much more will this film open up their eyes, hopefully. Finally, Ashley, if viewers are debating whether or not to spend the money at the box office to see Unplanned, what is it that you want them to know about this movie?
It is critical on our opening weekend that people show up in the theater, because that is make or break it for a film. And if they want to support this cause and they want to show the culture that this is important, that we can change society's view on abortion, we need them to show up. This is a call to action specifically for the church, because 60% of women who have an abortion identify as Christian. As a church, this is something that we need to get behind. And regardless of the rating, this is something that people need to support and show that we care, that we want to spread the word. And so I pray and I ask for people to get behind this film.
Ashley Bratcher, star of Unplanned, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course, thank you.
Go to unplannedfilm.com to find showings and to pre-order tickets. When we come back,
I feel so honored even to be a part of this whole film and what it's going to do to the country, to people, to save babies and souls.
pro-lifers get the Hollywood star treatment. Stay tuned as EWTN Pro-Life Weekly continues after this break.
And he went in and said to her, "Rejoice, Mary, full of grace." Oh, wow. You know what that meant? It meant that she was filled with God at her conception.
That was EWTN foundress Mother Angelica reflecting on the solemnity of the Annunciation, which we celebrated this week. And this week also marks 3 years since Mother Angelica's death. May her soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Welcome back to EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. I'm your host, Catherine Hadro. Planned Parenthood's president swung by Comedy Central's The Daily Show set for a segment that completely deceived viewers on the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. That brings us to this week's Speak Out. During a glowing interview with Dr. Lena Nguyen, The Daily Show host Trevor Noah introduced the topic of infanticide and the pro-life Born Alive bill to elicit laughter. Take a listen.
You know, you hear the stories now where, I mean, President Trump actually said it's gotten to the point where a baby can be aborted after it is born. Now, I don't know what that means.
This is no invention by the president. What Noah conveniently left out is President Trump was responding to alarming comments made by Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, comments that sounded like a defense of infanticide. Take a listen.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
This shows how desperate abortion advocates are. They have to literally ignore facts to make their case. Northam's comments were widely reported, and there's no excuse for comedian Trevor Noah to ignore them. Only to what? Make a joke about infanticide? This segment was entirely sycophantic propaganda for Planned Parenthood. It works to Lena Nguyen's advantage that The Daily Show is a pseudo-news comedy show, so the facts and truth are irrelevant for a laugh. The Daily Show, can I make a suggestion? The next time you plan to joke around about infanticide or abortion, get some new material. Remember, there is something you can do to counter today's culture of death by following this week's call to action. Go to prolifeweekly.com to thank Secretary Pompeo and President Trump for enforcing the global Protect Life policy to its fullest extent. Before the pro-life movie Unplanned hits theaters this weekend, the film's stars hit Hollywood's red carpet. Here is this week's Pro-Life Focus.
It's crazy because I've never done something like this before.
This is my first one ever, so I feel very overwhelmed by it all, but it's absolutely amazing.
Right off Hollywood's Walk of Fame, the landmark TCL Chinese Theater rolled out the red carpet last week for the pro-life film Unplanned. It was a packed premiere.
When we showed up, I was like, is this it? And he was like, yeah, this is it. And
Yeah, there's just been a lot of anticipation, and there's so many people here, and it's been a lot of excitement.
Really exciting.
Oh, I cannot wait to be in the theater and feel all the energy of these people and to be there while they take the journey of this story.
How does it feel to see all these people here at the red carpet?
It's really cool.
It's exciting, isn't it?
The glitz and glam of it all is a type of Hollywood access many pro-lifers in the film industry aren't used to, including the movie's starring actress.
I don't know, it's this whirlwind of emotion, really. I feel like crying because I feel like Cinderella. And then at the same time, I'm excited because we've spent a year waiting to share this with people, and then I believe that this is a divine appointment. The time is now.
None of this fanfare would be happening if it wasn't for Abby Johnson sharing her true pro-life conversion story with the world.
It's very surreal to be here. It's incredible. I'm looking around and I'm looking at all these people here, and I'm just like, look at what God is doing. Look at what he's doing in our culture. Look what he's doing here tonight in Hollywood. I mean, I don't know what Hollywood premieres look like, but I look around and I see all of these religious sisters here, and I'm like, heck yeah, they're here for a Hollywood premiere of my film, you know?
Surrounding Johnson on the red carpet were the very people who have surrounded her in life.
It's kind of like, it's overwhelming because there's so many other people, but it's also like, you never think this would happen to you. It's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and like every little kid's dream. And it was certainly my dream, so this is like really big for me.
Who gets to go out and say, there's a movie about me and somebody plays me in a movie? You know, as many movies are made, and then biopics, and oh my gosh, there's one about us. We're just from small town Texas, and here we are.
Pro-lifers would recognize a lot of the faces who were here at Unplanned's red carpet premiere in Los Angeles.
I think this film has a special power to actually show what abortion is in a way that other films haven't. And then also to give an opportunity for hope, to be relatable so that it's not down on people who've had abortions or gone through abortion or been in support of abortion, but it's an opportunity to think of it another way and to be open to hope and change and healing ultimately.
When Christian entrepreneur Mike Lindell got a call from producers to make a cameo appearance, he wound up playing an even bigger role.
I said, I love the true story. I will be in it. But is it going to be a great movie? And I know a real good production. And they go, yes. And I said, are you short money? They said, about $1 million. I said, I'm going to wire it. I wired it before the plane took off with no contract or nothing. God just said, do it.
Support for the movie spans generations, with a red carpet appearance from classic crooner Pat Boone himself.
Hollywood does not want this film to be made because there's a linkage between all liberal thought and even liberal theology and Planned Parenthood. This should shut Planned Parenthood down because it is an abortion industry. And the film portrays it that way.
On the Unplanned red carpet, cast and crew often sound more like missionaries than movie makers.
This is the story that was written by the Holy Spirit and lived out by Abby. It was just our job to help translate it. And we're very thankful that we were allowed a part in that.
I can use what I love to do, what I'm passionate for a cause that's bigger than myself. And I am so excited for the world to watch Unplanned. I know lives are going to be changed, and that I get to use my talent to do that. I think it's every actor's dream.
I hope that it reaches the people that we want it to reach. Like, I think that I know it's going to reach the church, but I want it to reach the people who have such strong opinions on pro-choice and on abortion that it will reach them, because once they see it, they might change their minds because they really don't know what goes on.
To be a part of this film, Abby's story, it's just so powerful, so amazing. We're just so thankful, and we just hope people can take from it, you know, the true message of love, mercy, and grace, the conversion that Abby had.
If you've been praying for a film that will build up a culture of life, Unplanned just might be the ticket.
I mean, God is amazing, and I'm just so excited for his truth and his mercy to be shown tonight to all these people.
Go to unplannedfilm.com to find showings and to pre-order tickets. That does it for this edition of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Until next week, I'd love to hear from you. You can email us at prolifeweekly@ewtn.com or look for us all over social media. Just search for EWTN Pro-Life. Remember, life is a gift. Your life is a gift. God bless.